Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here on a Friday morning. I don't know about Canada, but in the Valley, we usually don't go to work on Friday. It's called a work from home day, which is basically just stay in bed and reply to emails. So I appreciate all of you coming out here. Draper University, we're a pre-accelerator that was started by Tim Draper, and a lot of work that we do is around educating entrepreneurs, corporates and governments on various technologies, building startups, and then we invest in our own startups as well. So that's kind of what we do in a nutshell. We have more information about us there. But the reason this presentation wasn't working was because the blockchain industry is changing very rapidly. So I had to put in new numbers last night and then kind of got delayed with everything. But I'm glad everything is up and running. So we'll start with the most important question first. If somebody can move this to the next slide. Oh, well, there we go. Which are the good ICOs to invest in right now? This is the most frequently asked question. Everybody that I meet asks me this question. So I thought I'll just start with it. And the answer is on the next slide, which I borrowed from Andreessen Horowitz, which is there are no bad ICOs, but all bad companies are doing ICOs. So that's a great way to analyze what's happening in the market if you're interested. But talking about ICOs in 2018 alone, so this is kind of the first 6 months of what's happened so far. We have about 6.3 billion that went into ICOs, and that's kind of up by 118% from 2017. But a lot of that goes back to Telegram, and Telegram raised one of the biggest ICOs of this year so far at 1.7 billion. So anybody invested in Telegram's ICO here? No? Okay. So Draper Dragon Fund. So we have two crypto funds, and one of them is invested in Telegram. And then VC funding reached about 4.2 billion by Q2 of 2018. So there were about two investments over 100 million, but other investments were more early stage, and about 40 companies on average are getting funded in blockchain every month. But from the blockchain pitches that we hear, we're hearing about anywhere from 50 to 70 pitches as an ecosystem per week on blockchain. So that just kind of goes to show where investment is going. There is money in the market, but now it's more at a later stage. So there's less white papers and more products that are getting funded in the market. And similarly, the market remains flat as a whole, but it's not a winter or anything. We're actually now seeing more applications and kind of investing in those applications as well. But the most interesting stuff is happening actually on the enterprise level, where we have a whole bunch of live pilots that are going on. So for example, Stanter launched one of their big first foreign exchanges using Ripple. Or similarly, IBM launched a trading platform. JP Morgan did a 150 million debt insurance with blockchain. So there's a whole bunch of use cases that we're now seeing that are coming up on enterprise, and that's kind of where most of the use cases are focused as well. And similarly, our bigger players like Amazon and Facebook are entering the market, where David Marcus, who has been running the Facebook Messenger for quite a while, actually left the Messenger and is now starting a small team within Facebook that's going to focus solely on blockchain. And Amazon also started blockchain as a service. They're still struggling, figuring out how to go from cloud to blockchain, but they started a department specifically for it, and they are already talking to a whole bunch of people. So that's some like interesting players that are entering the market and kind of something to look on to. In 2017, we saw this very interesting partnership that IBM started with a lot of retail stores like Walmart and Unilever to help bring their supply chain on to the blockchain. And we actually just 2 days ago Walmart announced that about 100 of their leafy green vegetables, so all the people, your salads and your greens are going to be on the blockchain, and they are asking 100 of their vendors to actually start using their tracking system that is being built in collaboration with IBM by September 2019. So that's kind of a big use case that is going to be live very soon. And then kind of, this is a survey that Deloitte did, and based off of that, it's, you can say, surveyed about 1,000 or so enterprise clients, and for them, even so in 2018, the biggest use cases still remain supply chain, Internet of Things, digital identity, and payments. There's 4% of them who said none, so I don't know who those 4% are, but mostly enterprise is working around supply chain. And similarly, they're also now investing in blockchain implementation. So if you look at this, all these numbers here, about 50%, on an average, it's about 50%, where about 20 to 30% is either investing right away or is considering investing in the near future. And what I find interesting about this is that as much noise about it as we hear in the Valley, US is actually investing the least amount of money in enterprise blockchain. A lot of it is coming from Canada and China, which goes on to prove that a lot of hiring is also happening in Canada, China, and Europe. So if you look at the talent around you, the talent around just this room, there's a lot. The talent is not only cheap, but it's also pretty, they're way ahead of the curve. So a lot of hiring for both enterprise and even startups is happening outside of the US, which is interesting. And then obviously, since a lot of people are talking about blockchain, more and more stakeholders are starting to talk about it. So when we talk to enterprise, their suppliers want to better understand the use cases for blockchain. And I think that's where events like these come in handy, because you can exchange use cases with each other and actually try to better understand how you can help your customers, suppliers, and other people who are actually eventually going to use the product understand the technology better. But then, on the other hand, all of the next couple of things happened just within the last week. So SEC in the US filed charges against the Bitcoin-backed securities dealer, and that's like the first major charges. Those were filed alongside Elon Musk last night. So SEC doesn't know what they're doing. Then we have the South Korean government, which actually excluded the sale and brokerage of digital assets from venture business, which is huge. And also, we work a lot with the government of South Korea, and they have a blockchain association that's doing a lot of work around this. So if anyone of you is interested in connecting with the blockchain association in Korea, hit me up. I can connect you to those guys. And then the Chinese State Bank also issued a digital mortgage of 1.3 billion using the blockchain, and this also happened just within this week. So a lot of these things are now finally seeing fruition, and we're going to have an exciting rest of the year, most likely. And India, for example, is now testing their first blockchain e-voting for their listed companies on their stock exchange. And similarly, at Draper University, our alumni keep building amazing companies around blockchain. Patrick Dai's company Quantum is one of the largest blockchain companies in China. In December, it was valued at about 5 billion when the market was really, really high. But the interesting thing to notice is that when Patrick came to Draper University, he wanted to build a company around counterfeit, learned about the technology, and very quickly went back and built Quantum. So a lot of times, all that it needs is a lot of education, educating not only your youth, but also educating corporates on the use cases, like I said. But my favorite right now is the one on the extreme right, which is Shane and Jack. And what we're doing with them is that we invested in them, and they, with the government of Papua New Guinea, bought an island, and they are starting a new crypto economic zone with the government of Papua New Guinea. So that's kind of some of the exciting things that are happening directly in the university, along with a whole bunch of other stuff for us. And we're just called a university. We're not really a university. So just on that note. But this is kind of the view for the next 6 months. We're on this rocket ship. It's exciting. We are burning a lot of gas. Some of these ships are crashing faster than we can build them, but we're getting there and we're excited for the future. This is my LinkedIn QR code. So if anybody wants to add me, feel free to add me on LinkedIn. Happy to connect with any of you offline on how we can better help you with education and also connecting with any of our funds or our partners across. So please do let me know. Thank you.